Hi everyone, in this video we will solve some limit problems. So we will start with part A. Part A, limit t squared divided by 1 minus cosine t when t goes to 0. So since we have 1 minus cosine t, so you have to use the conjugate technique to find the solution. If also you have 1 minus sine of t, then you have to use the conjugate to solve this problem. So you have to multiply by the conjugate of 1 minus cosine t is 1 plus cosine t, 1 plus cosine of t. And as you know, a minus b multiplied by a plus b equal a square minus b square. So we have in denominator we have 1 minus cosine t multiplied by 1 plus cosine t. So it will be the first one square, 1 square minus second term square, cosine squared of t, and up we have t square multiplied by 1 plus cosine of t. 1 square equals to 1, and all the students know that sine square of t plus cosine square of t equals to 1. So as a conclusion, 1 minus cosine squared t equals to sine squared t. So you have to rewrite the denominator using this identity as sine squared of t, and up we have the same t squared multiplied by 1 plus cosine of t when t goes to 0. Next you have to group. We have limit t squared divided by sine square of t. We can write it as t over sine of t squared multiplied by 1 plus cosine of t when t goes to 0. And you know that limit mx divided by sine nx equals m over n. So the coefficient of t here is 1 and here is 1. So for the first one we have 1 over 1 squared multiplied by 1 plus cosine of t, which is 0. So 1 divided by 1 square, which is 1, multiplied by 1 plus cosine 0, and cosine 0 equals to 1. So 1 plus 1 equals to 2. For the second limit, you have to find limit cosine pi over 2 minus x divided by x when x goes to 0. We have a trigonometric identity says that cosine pi over 2 minus x equals to sine of x. So we can rewrite this limit as sine of x over x when x goes to 0. Now sine x over x, it means sine 1x over 1x. So it will be 1 over 1, which is equals to 1. In part C, you have to distribute the denominator for the two terms in numerator. So we have limit tan 5x squared divided by x squared minus limit sine squared 7x divided by x squared when x goes to 0. For the first limit, you have to substitute u equals x squared. So when x goes to 0, then u goes to 0 from right, because we have x squared, which is a positive quantity. So our limit will be limit tan 5u divided by u when u goes to 0 from right. And in the second limit, we can rewrite it as limit sine 7x divided by x all squared when x goes to 0. The first limit is 5 over 1, the coefficient of u up divided by coefficient of u down. So we have 5 over 1 minus the limit of the second one is 7 over 1 squared. So this is equals to 5 minus 49, and the result is negative 45. In part D, we have limit cosine x minus sine x divided by x minus pi over 4 when x goes to pi over 4. So the main idea, you have to multiply the numerator and denominator by 1 over radical 2. So you will get limit of 1 over radical 2 times cosine x minus 1 over radical 2 multiplied by sine x divided by 1 over radical 2 multiplied by x minus pi over 4 when x goes to pi over 4. The second step, you have to use this one. 1 over 2 is the sine of pi over 4 and cosine pi over 4. So the first 1 over radical 2, I have to write it to sine pi over 4 multiplied by cosine x minus the second 1 over radical 2, I will write it as cosine pi over 4. So we have sine x cosine pi over 4 divided by 1 over radical 2 multiplied by x minus pi over 4 when x goes to pi over 4. Now this fraction and denominator, so you can flip it and it will be radical 2 multiplied by limit of, now this quantity in numerator, it is like this identity, sine A cosine B minus sine B cosine A. It will be sine A minus B, so it will be sine pi over 4 minus x divided by x minus pi over 4 when x goes to pi over 4. So take negative sign from the angle as the greatest common factor, and you will get radical 2 multiplied by limit of negative sine x minus pi over 4 divided by x minus pi over 4 when x goes to pi over 4. Now for this function, the limit when x goes to pi over 4 equals to 1, and we have negative sign, so the answer will be negative radical 2. In part E, we have limit cosine pi over x divided by x minus 2 when x goes to 2. So we have hint here, and you have to substitute u as pi over 2 minus pi over x. So if you move negative pi over x to the left hand side and u to the right hand side, you will get pi over x equals to pi over 2 minus u. In denominator we have x, so you have to write x as a function of u. So pi over x equals pi over 2 minus 2u over 2. We rationalize the denominator and you will get pi over x equals to pi minus 2u divided by u. Now flip both sides, you will get x over pi equals 2 over pi minus 2u, and multiply both sides by pi, you will get x equals 2 pi over pi minus 2u. So this is x. Now back to the limit. Inside cosine we have pi over x, so you have to replace pi over x by pi over 2 minus u. Now what about the denominator? We have x minus 2, and x equals 2 pi divided by pi minus 2u, so you have to simplify more. So in denominator we have x minus 2, and this is the value of x, so we have 2 pi over pi minus 2u, this is the value of x, minus 2. Now you have to rationalize the denominator by multiply the second term, which is 2 by pi minus 2u divided by pi minus 2u, and you will get 2 pi minus 2 pi plus 4u divided by pi minus 2u. Now cancel negative 2 pi with plus 2 pi, you will get 4u over pi minus 2u. This is x minus 2. This is the denominator. Now we will go to our limit. So our limit equals to limit of cosine pi over x is pi over 2 minus u, and the denominator is x minus 2, and this is x minus 2. It is 4u over pi minus 2u. So we have 4 pi 4u over pi minus 2u. Now this limit in terms of u now, so when x goes to 2, u goes to pi over 2 minus pi over 2. So we have u goes to 0. Now for more simplify, we know that cosine pi over 2 minus u is sine u. So numerator is sine of u, and denominator is 4u divided by pi minus 2u. So you have to flip it and convert it to multiply. So you will get pi minus 2u divided by 4u when u goes to 0. Now we will arrange everything now, and you will get limit of sine u over 4u multiplied by pi minus 2u when u goes to 0. For the first one, we have sine u over 4u, which is sine 1u over 4u when u goes to 0. This is equals to 1 over 4 multiplied by pi minus 2 times 0, which is 0. So the final answer for this part is pi over 4, and that's it.